Good evening and welcome to Ashton Gate Stadium and Bears TV, proudly sponsored tonight by ATPI Sports Travel. Round 17 Gallagher Premiership action tonight as the Bristol Bears face the Newcastle Falcons. Here to watch it all alongside me is Bristol wing Toby Fricker. From one Toby to another. Toby, brilliant to have you with us. It's been a while since we've had league rugby at the gate and under the lights as well, so it makes to be a fascinating encounter tonight. Yeah,
it's been a while since I had Prem, well, even a home game, hasn't it? So it's always a great atmosphere here. So I'm very excited for it.
Good, good. And how is the injury? Obviously, it's been a kind of tough period for yourself personally, but you just said off camera then you're sort of easing your way back into training and you're not too far away at all now.
No, I'm not too far off now. It's been a bit of an annoying season with injuries. Started off in October with a toe and then got back for the Irish game, and then Zebra, I managed to do something to my hammy, so it's never a good time, like we said, to get an injury. But yeah, back soon, I hope. Yeah,
and it's tough. It's tough being a rugby player, of course. Well, I speak as though I'm talking from experience, but there's such a finite amount of games across the course of the season. I guess it's really hard being on the sidelines, and there is a big group of players out at the moment, and really influential players on the pitch usually too.
Yeah, it's never easy. I mean, that's the hardest thing, is watching the team play. You always want them to do well. You almost sort of feel like you're not as much as part of that winning sort of experience or even playing experience. But yeah, we've been riddled with injuries this year, big names as well, which affects the consistency, obviously, of the team. It all plays into it. But you know, like the Sale game the other week, it shows that we have got that depth and we are building. So young lads coming through and playing well is great to see. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully you are back very soon. Let's have a look then at the two teams that will go toe-to-toe tonight, starting with the Falcons. Puma's duo Matthias Orlando and Matthias Moroney will link up once again in the midfield, with fly half Brett Conan keen to extend a hot streak which has seen him missing just one kick at goal in his last six league games. Sebastian de Chavez, the Gallagher Premiership's leading line-out stealer, starts in the second row for a Newcastle team who have scored more first-phase tries than any other in the division so far this season. Gary Graham, Callum Schick and Carl Ferns form an abrasive back row unit as well. As for the Bristol Bears, Director of Rugby Pat Lamb makes two changes from the narrow defeat at Sarries heartbreak, with Noah Heward coming in at fullback and Jake Woolmore starting in the front row. Stephen Luatua captains the side from blindside flanker, whilst at halfback Harry Randall and A.G. McGinty link up, with Callum Sheedy absent with that facial injury. Among the replacements tonight, there are potential Premiership debuts for hooker Fred Davies and Academy centre Harry Orshall, who impressed, of course, in that cup victory over Sale last time out. What can we expect for those that maybe weren't able to tune in to that cup victory from those two younger lads on the bench tonight? I think it's going to be similar sort of game plan and tactics. I think the big thing about playing Newcastle is obviously set pieces is massive. They're very good at it, and like you mentioned, their first phase try is very high. So I feel like as long as we stick to it, don't give them too many mistakes, like we did against Sale, we'll play on top of them and we'll be able to play a very similar style of rugby that everyone enjoyed watching against Sale in the Prem Cup.
Absolutely, and we know we've got so much flair in the midfield with the likes of Semi Randrandru, of course, will be moving on at the end of the season, so plenty to be optimistic about tonight. Right, not long to go now until kickoff. Downsy is out there in the heart of the action with James Williams.
Yes, thank you. We are here with James Williams. James, it's been a little while since we've had a Premiership home game here at Ashton Gate. Boys, pumped for it tonight?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Like you said, been a while since we've been in the Prem, especially at Ashton Gate. So we're looking forward to getting out there.
How's training been this week?
It's been good, it's been competitive. That win against Sale in the Prem Cup's really brought a bit of an edge with all across the squad. So we're all pumped, looking forward to it.
Wins always bring a little bit of momentum, which helps.
Yes, definitely. I mean, Europe we've been going well. Prem Cup win was good. We just want to back it up now in the Premiership.
What do you think Newcastle are going to bring tonight?
Very physical. Obviously, their threats are their wingers, who are obviously pretty electric. So we're just going to try and try and nullify them and hopefully get on the right side of it.
We're celebrating our NHS heroes tonight, over 2,000 over here. Incredible. And there's just something about Friday night rugby, isn't there?
I know. Friday night, Ashton Gate, hopefully a big crowd. No, class, yeah. And the NHS stuff as well is brilliant. So it'd be good to give back to them.
What's not to like, eh? Go well tonight.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Downsy. Thanks.
Cheers, guys.
Downsy outside there with James Williams. Here's the boys warming up. Gabriel Ibatoye there. He's been in scintillating form this season, of course. Had a great night against South Africa and as well in that game before Christmas.
Yeah, he's done all right, yeah. No, okay, no, he's a good player. He's come in and he's offered a lot to the squads. Him and Siva, both like formidable players, great in attack, ridiculously powerful. So yeah, no, they're exciting ones to watch.
And it's an interesting period, this, with the Six Nations, obviously losing Carl Sinclair and Ellis Genge to that, and with the injuries Bristol have at the moment. How difficult is it to find that consistency in performance?
I think we train like really well. It's all about really work ethic and that sort of stuff. So you build weeks and weeks together, and eventually performances will start to sort of turn up. But yeah, the likes of two big leaders, Sinks and Genji out, it's not always. For other teams that might be a problem, but when you look at the class we have in that starting team, with likes of Stephen Luatua, like there's other leaders there that just sort of power through all that sort of period. And
on that as well, you know, Callum Sheedy out tonight, but the fact that you can have a half-back pairing that's maybe not your first choice in Harry Randall and AJ McGinty as well is saying something. Yeah, I mean, they're both. I mean, AJ's very off the cusp. He's great at reading things. He's brought a lot again this year, and obviously Rand's the quick tap warrior. If that was removed from the game, I don't know how much he would have left. But no, he's class. He's always on top of things. He brings a pace to the game. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what those two will bring tonight. And we were talking prior to kickoff there, given where Bristol's position is in the Premiership, still in Europe as well, what really are the aspirations for Pat Lam now, between now and the end of the season? What would be considered a really strong push between now and the end of the campaign? I think we always look to the top. That's ultimate goal. But I think at the moment it's tonight, and that's all that matters. So Newcastle, we need to win. We've got 4 big games ahead of us, but it all starts tonight. And obviously, like you said, Europe, it's another great sort of goal that we've got set, but focus on Newcastle for now. Yeah, absolutely. And you personally, between now and the end of the season, to get right back in the fold and put in some big shifts? Oh yeah, I'm excited to get involved in any way possible. I think it's just about biding my time, getting some training back in, get some match fitness, and hopefully run out at Ashton Gate again at some point in the near future. Well, we know you would much rather be out there than sat in here under the lights. No. It's burning in the studio, but here we are. Anyway, we heard James Williams and Downsy talking then about our NHS heroes tonight. We welcome 2,000 of them to Ashton Gate Stadium as a special thank you for all the work they're doing in the community in the surrounding areas. And earlier on this week, the Bears had a little message.
These are the hands that touch us first.
Feel your head, find the pulse, and make your bed.
These are the hands that tap your back, test the skin, hold your arm.
Wheel the bin, change the bulb, fix the drip, pour the jug, replace your hip.
These are the hands that fill the bath, mop the floor, flick the switch.
Soothe the sore, burn the swabs.
Give us the jab, throw out the sharps.
Design the lab.
And these are the hands that stop the leaks.
Empty the pan, wipe the pipes.
Carry the can, clamp the veins.
Make the cast, log the dose, and touch us last.
Thank you to our NHS heroes.
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 And thank you to our NHS heroes.
Lovely message there from the Bristol Bears. Not long to go now until kickoff. Of course, proudly sponsored tonight by ATPI Sports Travel. Threats tonight for the Newcastle Falcons. Where do the Bears have to be keep their concentration tonight in particular? I think set piece is going to be crucial. They're a huge pack, very dominant there. So discipline,
we don't want to let them get too many chances in our half, particularly at line out. And then obviously, as Jimmy Williams alluded to, electric back three. And their first try phase, like I think it's 63% or something like that, of first phase tries. So I think we contain them off those kick, counter gate and hunts. If we can contain them in that, it obviously takes a big part of their game away. So those are sort of the areas I say we've been concentrating on.
And they had a big win over the Tigers in the Gallagher Premiership, and then more recently over Connaught as well in the Cup. But they've been out of action for a while, and generally rugby games are spaced out to an extent. But we'll be hearing from their head coach shortly. Is that likely to impact them? The fact they've not really had that game time for a good month or so, almost.
Well, you never know. I mean, I don't know what it's like up there, but I feel like any rugby team, it's a lot of its mindset. And I'm sure they've turned up here with the idea of winning this game. So we cannot give them anything. They live off mistakes. They're very good in that sort of sense of the word. But yeah, you can't take that for granted at all. Yeah. I think we've got to be at our best to beat Newcastle. I mean, they've, like you said, had some really good performances recently. So yeah.
And that 1-point defeat at Sarries, gut-wrenching. We know how strong a culture that has been set at the Bristol Bears, but how hard is it to pick up a group of players after a narrow defeat like that?
Yeah, I think that hit home quite hard because obviously we've never won at Sarries and it was pretty much our game right until the end. We talk about learning from things and yeah, certain mistakes happen, but the best thing about obviously professional sport is you get another opportunity the next week. So obviously I've said it a few times, but this game is the big one.
Big one.
As long as we do it right tonight and put out a good performance, we won't be thinking about that Sarries game.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much, Toby. Always one game at a time. Right, time for a short break, after which we'll be hearing from both directors of rugby. We'll see you in a minute.
Let's hit the dance floor. Fatality, my diamonds that cold. Versace trunks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door. Live in the moment, feel like summertime. Obsessed with nation, now the world mine.
Welcome back to Ashton Gate Stadium and Bears TV as well, proudly sponsored tonight by ATPI Sports Travel. 15 minutes to go now until kickoff, and just a reminder as well to download your PRTV live pass if you are watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Don't miss a trick tonight. Make sure you go and download that for full match commentary this evening as well. But time now to hear from the visiting camp. Head coach Dave Wilder is keen for his side to quickly get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, I think our basics across the board are important this evening. We've had a few weeks without a game, so we've tried to manage the energy levels and nurse a few bumps and bruises. But ultimately, we've got to get our basics right. There'll be a little bit of rust, I imagine, at the start of the game. Hopefully, we knock that off sooner rather than later and get ourselves in the game, and then get our basics right and give ourselves a chance.
You've lost one of your Pumas in the midfield now. Given how key they have been this season, whenever they've played together, how disruptive is that?
Oh, it's not. I mean, it's fantastic news for Tute to become a father for the second time. You know, his wife gave birth yesterday, and we gave him the option of travelling down today. But reality is, the expectation was he'd spend the weekend with his family, getting his new boy home and looking after his wife and other boys. So he will be a miss. But congratulations to him. I hope he's celebrating. I hope he's watching us on TV. Although maybe he'll be getting some extra sleep. I don't know.
It's been a funny old season in some respects. One of those is it's 41 days since you last played a league match. Is there a danger of being a little bit ring rusty?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think we won't know whether we've got our preparation over the last 3 or 4 weeks right until the end of the game. We've done what we think's right at the time in terms of giving certain boys time off and managing loads and things like that. We knew this 3-week gap was on the horizon back in when the new fixtures came out. So we've got to deal with it and throw ourselves at it and see what happens.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Head coach Dave Wilder there with Bears TV. Not long to go now until kickoff. Toby, final messages in the camp from Pat Lam and the coaching staff. Who kind of takes over at this point? Is it Connor? Is it Pat? Who are the ones delivering those final messages, or is it left to the players at this stage?
Usually we have Pat will say a final sort of message before we get into the swing of like the warm up and stuff like that, and that will be very precise, quick, and to the point. And then it's, like you said, player-led. As we've spoken about before, we've got a lot of good leaders in there. There'll be a few tactical messages thrown out there, maybe something to get the boys a bit more riled up. And then, I think it's just back what you've done during the week and then show it out on the field. Is
it down to the leadership team to deliver those messages, or are you kind of encouraged as a full side to be as vocal as you kind of wish in those moments, or is it down to that specific core group of players?
I think there's a lot of trust that everyone knows what they're supposed to do, but the main messages we try and leave, because you don't want too many people talking, because that can often just send things south quickly. But I think like leaders generally have the sort of final say on things, but the general environment, if you've got something to say or something, everyone welcomes that with open arms.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Toby. Right, time to head to the Cubs camp now, and a great victory for our young guns. Another belting win for our young guns. We'll be getting the final thoughts from Toby in a minute and handing across to our commentary team, but it's time now for a short break.
I'm not catching fades anymore. Gotta keep my hands clean when they come for the ball. Keep it smooth like a dawn, making moves in the dark. Cause I learned how to swim in the pool full of sharks. I'm more like the top dog. Keep on running game and the gang will accost y'all. I be calling plays from a plane while I'm off court. But we ain't the same, you a lame, I'm a mob star.
Welcome back to Bears TV. Just a matter of minutes to go now until kickoff between the Bristol Bears and the Newcastle Falcons. Can the Bears get back to winning ways in the Gallagher Premiership? Watching it tonight in the studio with me is wing Toby Fricker. Toby, ahead of this one, final thoughts now. There'll be a few nerves out there, big crowd at Ashton Gate as well, under the lights. These are the occasions we like as Bristol Bears fans.
Oh, 100%. I think Friday night games are always really fun. It's a shorter week for us players as well, so you get to that game a lot quicker. But yeah, no, I think in general, I think we just need to play our game plan, play it well. Like I've said before, it's a lot to play for still this season. It's a tight table, and this game is really important to us. So let's hope we play it, you know, how we want to.
Yeah, and do you think it will be a sort of a game of attrition, really? I mean, both sides. Well, we say Newcastle Falcons, they come off at the back of a couple of victories. We're playing for confidence a little bit at the moment. Are nerves likely to sneak in as the game trickles on? Will there be that kind of bit of doubt maybe in a few Bears players' minds?
I don't think so. I feel like no matter how the games have gone through this season, we've always come in on a Monday annoyed about the result. But the main reason we're annoyed is because we've always thought we're the better sides. Maybe not every single game, but a lot of those closer games we've always thought we could have won it at the end. So our confidence is always high, and I think preparation is key. So training week goes well. We hope to sort of show that out on the pitch and get the result.
Fabulous. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Toby. Right, for those of you that are watching tonight on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube, there's still time to download your matchday pass from PR TV Live. But for those of you that are watching and haven't downloaded, it's time for us to say goodbye. Right, can the Bears get back to winning ways here on PR TV Live and Bears TV, sponsored tonight proudly by ATPI Sports Travel. The Bears with a chance to go level on points as well with the Newcastle Falcons in the Gallagher Premiership, bouncing back from that narrow victory against Saracens. We're going to pass you over now to our commentary team for tonight, Martin Gillingham and Will Capon.